Two notable developments in the special counsel's investigation of Donald Trump, including word of yet another subpoena involving the former president's finances. According to notes that Evan Corcoran took of his conversations with his client, Donald Trump, the former president, wanted to fight the subpoena that demanded that he return classified documents that he had no right to have after his time in office. Now, these notes taken by Corcoran are providing more insight into Trump's thinking and his actions around the time the criminal investigation was launched. And now they sit in the hands of the special counsel, Jack Smith. Joining us now is John Dean. He was the White House counsel for Richard Nixon. And just like Evan Corcoran, John, you testified about your conversations with President Nixon. So, as you listen to what has been reported here, in your mind, why would there even be dozens of pages of documents, notes about what to do with a lawful subpoena? Shouldn't that conversation between attorney and client be pretty short?
Well, I know Mr. Trump in the past has said he was surprised when his White House counsel were keeping notes. I didn't keep notes when I was White House counsel, uh, and I didn't know there was a taping system, which fortunately was there. But the immediate problem for Evan Cochran is that he, I think, did suspect his client was a little squirrely and he didn't know how things were going to turn out. So he kept very detailed notes, apparently, down to, as reported, such things as his facial expressions during conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem to suggest that Corcoran had a sense that something was potentially going to come back and needed to be documented. One of the sources described Corcoran's notes as, quote, overly detailed. Another source said that some were surprised at that level of detail. Do you think that Corcoran could have also been trying to perhaps protect himself?
I There's a good reason to suspect that's the case. I think we don't know what's in the notes at this point. We know they were valuable enough to the prosecutors that they went to court and got a judge to say that it appears there's certainly evidence to indicate that Mr. Corcoran's client, the president or the former president, was taking advantage of that counsel to commit a crime, and that's the exception, which is breaching the privilege, which judges don't like to do. That's a very sacred privilege. So judges are very aware of it, and but it's very telling to us as spectators in this at this point that we are seeing a case that there is being built, and there's judges who are looking at this evidence see evidence of criminal behavior by Mr. Trump.
Yeah, that crime fraud exception was found by the judge in this case, which is a very high bar typically. Here's what sources close to former President Trump are saying. They're saying that he was just asking his lawyer, Corcoran, for legal advice, whether when he asked about whether or not they could fight the subpoena. So if you're a prosecutor and you're examining these notes, how do you determine what is the line between perhaps Trump trying to obstruct justice, asking how to get out of a subpoena, and Trump, let's us play devil's advocate. Trump could have been playing devil's advocate in that moment. I think that is what his aides are suggesting here.
Well, as I pieced together the reporting, it appears what might have happened is he might have legitimately probed his lawyer, he took the advice his lawyer gave him and turned around and shared it with somebody else, and they appear to have moved documents and things of that nature once the subpoena arrived to try to avoid it being fully uncovered and discovered. So that's the sort of thing that these notes could tell us and lead us to have a better understanding of, and that would show his criminal intent. Whether or not it's just a willful use of this material or whether it's an obstruction, it appears the obstruction case is most prominent and strongest at this point.
So there's another detail that is very interesting that we're learning from the New York Times. They're reporting that prosecutors have also issued a subpoena about Trump's foreign businesses in 7 very specific countries in China, France, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates, and also Oman. What does it say to you that they are looking at these deals that date back to 2017, meaning while Trump was still president of the United States?
Well, the fact that it goes back throughout his presidency is very telling. That they're looking to see, what he might have shared, uh, and I think there's a good reason to do that. What he shared of intelligence nature. We know he did it while in the Oval Office, and they had to rush and declassify information when he gave uh, Ambassador Lavrov clearly sources and methods, which was a troublesome thing. But here, I thought my immediate reaction when Caitlin asked him at the town hall, have you ever shared any of this information with anybody? The answer that most people would have given was, of course I didn't. This was national security information. Trump's answer was, I don't recall. That just doesn't fit. It's not surprising that the special counsel is trying to find out, well, who in the world was this man dealing with and what might have been an occasion that he could have shared this information, or what motive might have been to share the information.
Yeah, I mean, I think this speaks to a major question that we still have, which is the why of it all. Why would he want to keep the documents? What is the motive, as you just said? But turning to one of the other legal cases that the former president has been embroiled in, this is dealing with E. Jean Carroll's defamation and sexual assault case against him. It seems now that she is wanting to amend this case based on his comments in that CNN town hall. I want you to take a listen to this.
They said he didn't rape her. And
They did
I
not
didn't
say
do
that he
anything else either. You know what? Because I have no idea who the hell she is.
But Mr.
I
President,
don't know
can
who this woman
I
is.
ask?
They said, sir, don't do it. This is a fake story, and you don't want to give it credibility. That's why I didn't go.
One thing you did do in this.
And I swear, and I've never done that, and I swear to, I have no idea who the hell, she's a whack job.
She's a whack job. So what do you make of today's filings? Are you surprised at all?
Not at all. I think that what was done was very thoughtful. It wasn't a new case that was filed. It was filed against the original complaint that was done back in November of 2019 that has been bouncing around the courts over who can represent Trump, whether because he was president when he said that, the Department of Justice should be involved in this. And that has not been, it's gone up to 2 court of appeals, and now it's back down in the district court. That's where she amended it. It's back there, and it shows punitive damages. Many of these issues in the original case have already been tried. It's the same judge. He's very savvy. He knows what's going on. It was a brilliant move, and I think Trump could end up paying another $5 or more million as a result of his loose lips.
Not the only comment that he made in that town hall that could end up having some real legal repercussions for him. John Dean, thank you very much for all of that.